Kingdom OutKasts Podcast is a platform for us to simply express our thoughts, opinions, and experiences concerning our faith and events around the world. We're here for your entertainment, encouragement, and edification of the body. We're humans like yourself and are not the final authority of views expressed. Only the Most High Yah is. Feel free to agree, disagree, edify, question, and comment however you're led to in the comments. We are many members of one body under Messiah and look forward to communing as a family with mutual respect. Shalom and enjoy the pod. Kingdom OutKasts.
What is up, beautiful people all around Elohim's green earth? Welcome back to another episode of Kingdom OutKast. Episode 15. We are here in the building. It is your co-host, Eliyahu. Who I got here with me?
I'm Deja. I'm Mimi.
And I am Mashak. Brandon Ahadan Ashar Mashak.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And you guys may notice something a little bit different today. We do have an extra voice. We got an extra person here.
Woo-hoo.
And we are so grateful.
Another lady. Finally.
Oh, look
Hey,
at look.
Another woman.
What was that? Elijah said as much lion energy today.
Wow. That's what we doing?
I'm joking.
That's what we doing?
We joking.
Yes. We're very glad to have you. Thank you. Yes. Thank y'all for welcoming me.
Her eyes scream balance right now. Oh, man.
Hey, this is good. Maybe I just need some more female guests, I think so. I really do. Let's do it.
She really act like we don't take care of her, man. It's all good.
I don't have a lot of rights. Rights are very limited.
Anyways, whatever. That's crazy. So, yeah, guys, welcome to Kingdom OutKasts Podcast. This is my good friend Mimi here. Tell him, Mimi, how do you know me and what's going on?
We doing a history lesson?
Just a little bit. People want to know who you are.
Oh man. Okay, so if anyone has been catching up with Brandon, we used to have a podcast together called Excellence Knows. Excellence is an understatement. But I actually met him in the gym. Like, you helped me get my gym membership way back yonder. Mm-hmm. And he started talking to me about some of the things that he was doing as far as with knowing your macros and blood types. And I was interested, so that's kind of how we became friends. So that was long ago.
That was Anytime Fitness?
Yeah, back in Mapleton.
Good, great.
So that was like 2019?
Yeah.
Before pandemic?
It could have been like 2018.
Okay.
2018 or so, yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, man.
So what was your guys' podcast, what was it mainly about? Excellence is an understatement. I mean, I feel like you guys are talking about, excellence, but like black excellence, I assume.
We were just trying to get the knowledge to the people.
Okay.
It was just, it started off with Brandon, me, and Jeff. And, we were just talking about, basically like what was going on in the world, giving people like history lessons and all type of things. Nice. Health, wealth.
Okay.
Everything under the sun.
Advice, just anything, yeah.
It was pretty dope.
It was like lifestyle.
Yeah.
And Mimi, similar to how, the ages here, she was our moderator as well. She did really good with handling our Instagram, in the marketing and stuff, so that was a good time. And then when Jeff, he moved, with his family and stuff, then my boy Diggy came on. He has his whole card, Entrepreneur Game Chance LLC. And so we did some good stuff with that podcast back then. And then we decided to go. Nah, you went and start a family.
Start a family.
I did.
Important matters. Important matters.
Y'all, my husband caught me slipping. And then COVID had hit, and things happened. But I am glad that you guys are doing a podcast and I'm able to come on. I'm really happy for y'all.
Yeah, we're like the second iteration.
We're not doing it.
Second iteration of the excellence. Like, we're trying to maintain a level of excellence, I think.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to get with you after to talk about Instagram marketing. I just pick your brain so we can improve ours. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all you do.
That part.
Let your people know.
Share.
But we always are trying to strive for excellence. I think is important. But
For For sure.
I do know a couple of people, quite a few people, that did start families in the pandemic. You know,
A lot. There's a
Oh,
lot of chilling going on.
not a rare thing.
Y'all, we did every puzzle we could find. We played Chance the game, okay?
Yeah.
We did everything, and then, boom.
For
Caught
sure.
your girl slipping. We have the girl.
All good. Yeah, and what's funny is about the podcast. So, during the podcast, I was coming into what we call the truth, right? And the truth, from what most of our viewers understand it is we believe in the Father, the Son, and Messiah, but we also know our even our bloodline identity in relation to the Word, which kind of more personalizes, things, with you. But I was coming into the knowledge of a lot of this stuff during the Excellence of Understatement podcast, and before we started recording, Deja wanted to find out.
I just said, how was it working with Brandon? And, she was saying, well, he kind of had these outbursts and he wanted to talk about these controversial things. And I'm like, no, that's fine. Don't you think he's, bossy? You could be, anything controversial is totally fine. That's kind of the reason, for the platform. Bring it on, honestly. Bring on the controversy. But, isn't he bossy?
Man, look, okay. Sometimes you just gotta make sure things go along how this. Anyways,
I enjoy.
She held you down. She was like, he just expects excellence. He wants us to be on time. He wants things to be neat, right? And I'm in agreement with that. So
yeah, just somebody's gotta be the hateable one, I guess, right?
I enjoy the outbursts. I kind of feed off her,
the outbursts are welcome.
Say that, Brandon. So I can be like, yep, yep.
Yeah, but that previous podcast, it was more so based around just kind of our community as a whole. It wasn't like a faith-based podcast or a truth or a conspiracy-based thing. So for me, it was just kind of like, a lot of us know coming into this awakening, when you start getting all this knowledge and research, you go down rabbit holes and stuff. Now it's you get so much information that you just don't know when to keep it to yourself, right? Or wisdom. So that was definitely an interesting time, man.
It was fun though. It was fun.
And those are the things you guys are just mentioning. I feel like in my awakening, coming into the truth, those are things I also had interest in. I was like, well, maybe I should be eating better things. Maybe I should know more about my ancestral history, or maybe I should what does it mean to be excellent, or the generational curses. So it does all go together. When you go on that walk and you're like, I really want to improve my faith and I want to know more about who I am, and I just want to know more in general. That's usually going to include your health, your biological things that you want to know, how you can take better care of yourself. Those things are all very relevant to each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I did watch most of those. When I would watch the episodes back, I would think to myself, man, you're doing too much. I try to be I try to be aware of when I'm doing a lot in the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't. I don't. It's sometimes, but
So it's like growth. You can see your growth.
Yeah.
I mean, no, growth, but I just think some stuff is just really a part of my being a little bit. I think I told y'all, I found out I absorbed my twin, so
Still scared of that.
it's I just found I was supposed to be a twin last year.
Really?
Yeah, so it's I got two personalities in one body, I guess.
And O blood type.
I'm a B positive.
blood type.
We have only 11%. But so yeah, man, how was our weeks? Huh?
You said unique.
Yeah. But yeah, how was y'all week, man? What's up?
I personally had a good week, a very productive week. I worked lots of hours. We're talking about entrepreneurship, so what I do, I have a full-time job working in finance. I work for a nonprofit organization, but also I do 1099 consulting for other businesses. So right now I have 3 projects going on.
Come on with it.
Working as an executive assistant. He's basically a business manager and a lawyer for athletes. So I work for him a couple hours a week. Not a couple. I worked for him 15 hours this week. Then I do bookkeeping and I work for under a CPA. So some weeks if I don't stop myself, I'll be at my computer for over 70 hours of the week. So this was one of those weeks. I was pretty glued to my seat and I think I got a lot done. I'm happy with it, but I'm trying to just create balance. I don't want to become one of those workaholic,
Yeah.
But that's my form of entrepreneurship, being able to work for these businesses, doing bookkeeping and finance work.
Okay.
So I think it was a good week, though. I got a lot done. I was happy with the work I did. I didn't cook very much. After all that work, I'm like, I'm ordering something in, like
Meal prep.
Yeah, meal prepping is that would have been good for this week. So I wasn't super balanced. I worked a ton, didn't exercise, and ordered out.
Yeah, I heard that some of those. What about you, Elijah?
Oh, my week was the usual working. All work, no play. Makes Elijah a dull boy. But
that's how you like it.
Yes, it keeps me on the narrow path, out the streets, and it's good. It's good. Work this week was like it's a little demanding because we're getting towards the end of the month, and like I work with like auto car dealers, so like these Negroes were just demanding, and I tell you, people that are buying cars right now, stop it. Stop buying cars. Like, I approved so many loans that were like 600 credit scores. Like, I'm talking low 600s, 500s. Mm-hmm. But like, they're like, all right, yeah, I'm cool. I can afford this like $750
You
month
feel like
payment.
you feel like you're trapping people.
I mean, something's got to make America go. You know what I mean? We got to put cars on the road, but we really don't.
The used car market is very high.
Yeah, it's not. It's the used cars, new cars. Like, people just they want new cars, and they don't care. But yeah. So like, just it was a good work week, and I was able to be productive. I think I'm starting to like shift my focus on where I'm creating content wise, like the actual subject matter of the content that I'm making. So yeah, you just have to check that out if you want to. But yeah, I think this week was good. I've been standing a lot more at work because like I was realizing that my posture's starting to get back because I just sit down I don't work 70 hours a week. I do sit down a lot, and I got like the standing desk, so I'm like, okay, like let me go ahead and stand up some more. I've been really focused on my stretching.
The standing desk is luxury. Like if your company has that.
Oh yeah, my company has it, and I have it in my office too, my personal home too. Because I was like,
that's crazy. The thing that makes you work harder is luxury.
I mean, it is a nicer desk, and like you can stand, blah blah blah. I want to stand.
Can you drop it up and down?
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
so never mind.
Like,
okay, I get that.
Like you can like put it up high enough so that you could just stand up.
I need to do that.
I prefer that too. Sometimes I ain't gonna lie to you.
Leg stretch.
Put the treadmill underneath there. Some people got the treadmill.
Oh, that'd be wild.
That is like being a real human battery. Like you're literally like giving your energy to the creating energy by walking and giving the energy to the computer.
It makes me sad though a little bit that we gotta come to a point where you gotta multitask.
Oh yeah.
That's how
to keep yourself active.
Yeah.
I was really like having a dilemma kind of like that this week too. Like for real, I was just like, well, I need to get more cardio, man.
Really?
But after I work out, I don't want to stay in the gym, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm not gonna get a treadmill and put it in my crib and watch. I'm just not,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. But my week has been.
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
But my week has been it's been pretty good, pretty busy as well here. It's been interesting, man. A lot of people are getting laid off. Like a lot of jobs are doing a huge layoffs, and a good amount of my clients have been going through that. Mm-hmm. I've been getting other clients that have kind of replaced some who had to drop off, but that's been interesting. A lot of people have been in the hospital. We've been hearing a lot of people, having health issues.
Yeah.
Y'all already know what I think. I think a lot of that is, shot related. But
quick side note: as the seasons do change, make sure y'all are getting your immune system together, dadgummit, getting your vitamins and staying up on all the supplements that you need to take to keep your immune system right. But
sea moss.
Sea moss, yes, I've been hearing about the minerals that are in sea moss and everything like that.
I heard it has 90% or something.
Yes.
A lot of stuff you need.
And if you get somebody who do it right, you can put in your coffee, your smoothies.
Yeah.
Like I put in my kids' juices.
My hairdresser, she makes it. She adds ginger and pineapple to it. It's like applesauce. It's so good.
I need that.
I was taking it like that
ones.
before.
Yeah.
I was definitely taking it like that before, but definitely, we're in spring now. Yeah, that's when we're in a hoodie, y'all. We got a little breeze out, So, summer's my favorite season, but I appreciate spring. I definitely appreciate it.
It's fall.
It's officially fall.
Just so you
It's alright.
Oh, I keep saying spring. I mean fall. Yeah, autumn.
I was like,
Autumn.
is this brother on the Enoch?
I mean autumn. Autumn. Autumn.
I was just going for it because
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe he's like saying like maybe he uses spring and fall.
No.
I refuse. No.
No. Autumn.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Okay.
funny.
So yeah, autumn. It's officially autumn. So yeah, man. I'm enjoying the weather. But yeah, just real busy week. Clients. I'm gonna run off of 4 hours of sleep right now. But you know, I'm good. I'm blessed. Looking forward to still got somewhat of a little high still off a feast of trumpets celebrating, you know, and then looking forward to Feast of Tabernacles for real, that this camping trip. We go. So I go to Boom Academy and I go between another one, Boom, which is I believe is the One Messiah, and School of Hebrews, which Church of Philadelphia is another congregation. I like to go in between there. Really, all three of us kind of go in between there a little bit, right?
Okay.
But so with some of the brothers, we're getting together for the feast days. You're probably learning a little bit about the feast days since you've been going through the Old Testament. And so, me personally, I don't really do holidays because it's not in the Bible, but I do like to do the feast days that we're commanded to do. And so, I'm looking forward to camping because I love camping, love being in nature. I want to see my dog run around in the woods and swim.
Get them feet on the grass.
Is Yom Kippur is tomorrow?
Today. Nope,
Today?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was just talking to my husband about it. Like, we're thinking about
Day of Atonement, right?
Yeah.
Is Yom Kippur? Yeah.
I thought it was Monday, but I know that there's different. Like, I think there's multiple calendars. It probably is today.
It probably is, but I know it's. I think like.
Bishop mentioned it yesterday.
I think it's
It is.
sunset tonight.
Yeah, so
okay.
it's fast. Okay.
So.
Hey Siri, set a reminder to fast at 7:30 p.m. to Monday 7:30 p.m.
Yeah. So.
Oh, it's a fast.
It's just crazy
Yeah,
that Brandon is the
it
one
is.
that uses Siri out of all of us. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Is that like
love
what?
Siri. He's
I
organized.
need you to explain
I mean,
that.
it's like, okay, yeah, you're organized, but you're so... It's like your outbursts. You know, the outburst against the system. It's just like...
Love Siri. Like, he's locked in with
hand in
her.
hand with
No,
Siri.
Siri. Y'all use Siri. My Siri got an attitude. Me and her, we don't connect sometimes, but
yeah.
like use Siri.
Honestly, I don't even have it enabled. Honestly,
Really?
this
I
week
don't have
I've
it
actually been
enabled
kind of
either.
thinking of getting like an actual track phone, and just having like an iPhone just to be in the group messages, so people don't hate me.
Who
But,
is looking for you, Elijah?
listen, you
Tell me
never
now.
know when it'll happen. October 4th.
You know
Nah,
what?
but to your point though,
October
okay.
4th.
Look,
Yeah,
but
talk about
that.
honestly though, when I started entrepreneurship, I'm lazy at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
If I can use some, I'll trade. I'll use wisdom, try to trade convenience for I don't know, life freedom or something like that. You know what I mean? And Siri be helping, even though she be trying me sometimes. But yeah, Mimi, what's your week been like?
Oh man, lots of babies, lots of cookies. If you guys don't know, I am one of the owners of Sugar Daddy Cookies with my husband, and like this week we're training a couple of new people, getting ready for the holiday season. My daughter is potty training, and I'm so excited. Y'all might not like see the excitement, but her telling me, "Hey, potty," I'm like, "Girl, let's go!" Like, what? Let's
Small
do
wins.
it. Yes, girl. But really, that's about it. Just getting my team ready for the holiday season. We have quite a few corporate orders come in this week, so we've had to go to our commercial kitchen and make a lot of cookies, and yeah, just being a mom at home, and I'm loving it.
That's exciting.
Yes, it's awesome.
So it's usually like is peak cookie season
Oh,
towards
yeah.
like the fourth quarter of the year.
So, absolutely.
Okay.
So the first quarter is like just slow. Everybody just spent all their money on Christmas and stuff. But the fourth quarter, I'm talking about everybody got holiday parties.
Yeah.
Everybody's a Virgo, shout out.
Yeah.
So it's like people just put in their order.
Or for you super brews, Bethula.
Ooh.
All right, but for the super Hebrews.
But yeah, so like right now, we're about to get ready to train 3 new girls. We have someone that's working in the kitchen with us as well too.
Okay.
But usually, my husband and I, we go to our commercial kitchen overnight, and we kind of take turns. So somebody stay at home with the kids.
Yeah.
And we make and bake like thousands of cookies in like one day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember
That's like the American dream.
I remember conversing with you
It really
about
is. That's
like
the American
how do y'all keep the consistency of like ingredients and flavors. I remember having that conversation when you had that at your crib. One time.
So I will say we went through a lot of horrible cookies during our experimenting season. But what we did is all of the recipes are Williams that he made, and he has this secret book. He didn't even share with me for like a year and a half. This is how secret it is. Because he was like, I know we're married, but he was like, you can run off and make your own. I do not want to do this by
That's
myself.
real. That's real.
Just
It
my
took me
brother.
a lot to give my I was in a relationship with passwords for handle marketing. Like,
But,
oh my
but
gosh.
And it's crazy because we were married.
Right.
And
So
he-
you're in too deep now. I need to know it all.
I'm like, dude,
every
I had your
password.
baby.
I want
like,
every bank account.
What you mean I can't have a recipe? Like, it took him a year and a half to give me the recipe. So he has it like locked away.
Put a patent on
All right,
it.
we're
Yeah.
gonna
It's
get
time-
into
we're gonna talk
that.
about
We're
that
gonna
later.
get into more of this. Yeah. But,
Yeah, but
Y'all ready to
good
talk
week.
about the precepts?
Yeah, let's do it.
sounds good.
All right, so they allowed me to do it this week, y'all. I feel so honored. So I wanted to read Exodus 34:29. I started currently, recently reading the Bible from cover to cover, and I'm in Leviticus right now, y'all. So I'm very proud of myself. But this one's like really that like stuck out to me.
34 what?
34 verse 29
All
and
right.
30.
Cool.
Y'all got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the covenant law in his hands, he was not aware that his face was radiant because he had spoken with the Lord. When Aaron and all the Israelites saw Moses, his face was radiant, and they were afraid to come near him.
Okay. Cool. So how does that verse resonate?
So it resonated with me because when I read that at the time, I was doing a fast, and I was just like, "Ooh, I want to spend I want to spend so much time with God where like I'm just radiant, I'm shining, like people see God on me, like that's where I want to be. I want to be that close to Him." And I just thought it was so cool. Like, wow, like I can literally just spend time with God, and like it's people who don't even know me, people who never met me before can see God on me. That's dope to me. Like I thought that was just so dope.
I've gotten those comments here and there where like some random person will walk up, you just shine when you walk into a room, like, or and not on some like cocky big headed stuff, right? Like it's or just on some people can really see that. Some people are spiritually sensitive enough to see the Most High in you. It actually just really happened. Was it last week or a week and a half ago? I was going from the gym into the fancy Kroger, the one in Upper Marietta, with the real organic. When it's actually
Fresh
organic,
produce.
and they got an olive bar
fresh.
and the gourmet cheeses, not just the Sargento, whatever. But anyways.
You better check that one out.
But so I'm looking at the cheeses, and I just hear, "Excuse me, sir," and I turn around, it's this tall, older white gentleman behind me. He's like, hey, I was just watch you walk in here, and I just see you with your head held up high, and this and that, and you just keep doing you, and don't let anybody try to change you for who you are, and you just shine. I'm like, oh man, appreciate it. But it spoke to me just in a way of like, you want to naturally come off, but also always realize you're representing somebody. You're representing the Most High, and to carry yourself in a way where people can consciously carry yourself that way too. Not just just on that, like consciously carry yourself that way. But yeah, it's dope when you get those kind of random comments sometimes, and that it hasn't always happened during spiritual highs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it does happen, it will motivate me out of whatever funk I'm in.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, all right, I see,
Thank
Most High,
you.
you trying to, whether this is a real human or an angel you sent me to just tell me this.
Yeah.
It's working.
I got to get back on my grind. So
Yeah. No, it's definitely important. I think like just that's a great example, and that's one of like the prayers I pray is like, you know, Lord, allow for the light of Christ to be just evident in me, you know, as I'm going into the office, as I'm like just shopping, like as I'm just living, you know. I think that's important, but to the Exodus 34:29, like Moses spent 40 days, 40 nights up there, no eating, no drinking,
Yep.
in the presence of the Most High.
Yep.
And it's like, I think it's so evident to see like when you are spiritually disciplined like that, and of course he was in the Most High's presence, so like that's a totally different like level of shining that you're gonna get. That's why they had to cover up his face. But like when you are like just in the process of fasting, praying more, reading the word, and like just getting into God's presence more, I do think like you said, Brandon, like there's gonna be a natural shine that people are going to notice, which is like important for all of us as believers to like have evidence of, you know, the fruits of the Spirit, and just really just to let Jesus shine through us, you know, not necessarily by being like, yo, like I love Jesus, but like more so by our actions, consciously and subconsciously. So I think that's a great precept, and radiant is an important word too.
I agree. I definitely agree with what y'all have said about allowing the Spirit to be on you and being evidence of the Ruach. I also think about, a while back I was asking Brandon about, I think it was about the millennial reign or when the Messiah returns. How will we know it's him? Like, how will we know? How can we not be confused? And, you know, his response was basically like, he's going to be in a heavenly form. Like, he's going to be so obviously radiant that, like, you know that it's him. It's not going to be in question at all. So that just kind of reminds me that there's actual humans who walked the earth who had that experience where, like, the actual presence of the Most High was so obvious and undeniable that everyone around could see it. And that if it be during our time that we could have that experience, you know, with the Messiah when he comes, to actually see him in the physical but in his heavenly form, that radiance is going to be so undeniable. We won't be confused. Someone can't come and tell us that's who they are and they're really not. When you have the Ruach, you're going to know and you're going to be able to see things. Yeah. So that's awesome. I'm glad you shared that.
Thank you.
And one thing I just thought about as you were talking was the book of Nostarim, and when Yakanan.
And just to explain it, maybe book of the Natsarim. So we are people that also we indulge into apocryphal texts, the texts that, you know, I'm not sure if you know, but there's more books in the books written by the Israelites than just the 66.
Oh, no.
Right?
I'm trying to find them because I want to read them.
Oh,
okay. Like the Book of Jasper, book of all that. Yeah. I'm trying to. I'm looking for it.
We be in all of that. Okay.
Yeah. We need to talk afterwards.
He's referencing one of those books.
Okay. We need to talk afterwards.
And Natsarim is the term the Messianic Israelites would go by.
Okay.
They wouldn't be called Christian or whatever. They'd be like, I'm a Natsarim. And Paul was the ringleader of the Natsarim.
Okay.
But yeah, my bad.
So when Yakanan, John the Baptist,
Baptizer,
okay. John the Baptizer, when he went to go baptize the Messiah, he baptized him, and when he came up, it was just so clear to John that he's like the full force of the Holy Spirit was on the Messiah, and he's like, that's the Messiah.
That's him.
Yeah, that's him. As soon as he came up, so, and I know like even in the 66 books, I'm pretty sure like in all throughout all the Gospels, they mentioned how like when Jesus came up out of the water, it was like a real anointing. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I want that. I experienced that before, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I want that, like
that anointing, that Mashach, that Mashiach.
I want when people see me, they be like, "Yeah, that's God." You working with her?
That's the Hebrew word for radiant.
Yeah. So Strong's Concordance 5102, Nahar. All right, Nahar. Which is to flow or stream as a definition. It's a verb to flow, stream, or verb shine, beam in Aramaic. Absolute emphatic, to flow together, be lightened. Primitive root, Strong's Exhaustive Coordinates, to sparkle, be cheerful. Hence, the sheen of running stream, to flow, a symbol, flow together, be lightened. And then you have 5102B, Nahar, to shine, beam, radiant. So yeah, pretty simple there. But yeah, so I think it's interesting. The radiant and stream and all that, but to flow is was an interesting term.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about that. You know,
God to flow through you.
yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what I think about, that you're letting the Most High flow through you. Or, you know, how we learn that ruach, right, means breath, wind, you know, spirit, right? We're letting his ruach flow through your, you know, your body, your being, you know, and that radiates you, that flow of the ruach through you radiates you. So, kind of, I see it like that.
That's good.
I like that.
I didn't even think about it as like flow, you know? And then you tie it back into the ruach, but that's why I just like going into the Hebrew words. You know what I mean?
We miss it in the English, man.
We do.
Yeah.
My kid's godmother, she knows Hebrew. She's teaching my babies right now,
Oh.
and I be in there listening. Like, what was that? Hold
Yeah.
on, let me hold on.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, let me look that up, because Hebrew words, like, they just is more in depth and depth, and I
I
want
think
to learn
it also
more.
it connects different synapses in our brain to
Right.
like understanding a word and also applying it.
It does.
And let's sit there for a quick minute. I'm curious, right? Because I've kind of more so recently, right, seen you be a lot more vocal, right, about your faith and stuff on Facebook. Like, what kind of motivated you this year, or whenever you did, to start getting more into all these things?
Well,
I don't think this is a part of our main topic.
it's not.
Okay,
No, it's
yeah.
a good question.
Yeah, but I want.
So what kick-started, like, me being more vocal is once I had my daughter, I went into postpartum depression. Y'all, I had it so bad. Like, I was hearing the enemy in my voice. I'll never forget this. I was on the patio letting out my dog to use the bathroom, and I'm holding my daughter, and I just heard the enemy say, "Drop her." We on the second story building. Drop her. I was like, oh no, we not gonna do that. And I went and prayed, and
That's scary. That's
it is
very scary.
It is. When I tell you, when I prayed, like, I just felt like God was talking to me. He let me know, like, exactly why this was happening. When I was pregnant, I had a witch touch my stomach, and she was trying to basically attack my child.
Right.
My child has a calling in her life, and so from that moment when the witch touched my stomach, I was just having like crazy dreams. I was experiencing crazy things. The day when the enemy was like, just drop her down the story, like I was like, no, we're not gonna do that. My relationship with my husband was crazy at the time because I was having all these outbursts, you know, because I'm like, you don't understand the fight that I'm having in my head right now. And so it was pouring off in our relationship. It was pouring off in our business and me parenting. I had enough. And so I went to God. And he just started revealing things to me in the Bible. He sent people to me to help me pray, like spiritual warfare, like all of this stuff. And, you know, once he delivered me from that, he was like, I need you to open up your mouth. Because it's so many other people who are dealing with what you're dealing with that they need help and they don't have anybody to, like, I'm sending you. I'm sending you to save them because they don't have this type of resources that I've given to you.
Yeah.
So,
Do you remember that call I gave you that one time? It was kind of you might have like when you got off the phone thinking like this man has gone off the deep end, but it was I called her because we've talked about this at some point. I don't think on a podcast, but the pandemic baby situation, right? These black-eyed kids or some kids that are full head control in one day and movement, like they're like talking and then in like 3 months, you know, walking like 3 months, like is a real thing. And how I've seen and have been revealed to me through the Ruach and through people that there's an effort to steal even more babies in trafficking. And I called her about that one time, thinking like, I know she's gonna be like, looking at me crazy. But I'm like, yo, if your baby is advanced and doing like things advanced, don't talk about it online.
No. So let me tell you, when you did that call, you freaked me out at first because I was like, what? Wait a minute. So I was looking at him crazy at first, but then like I had went to William and I talked to him about it, and then like it was that same day.
I want to know what William's reaction was.
You know Brandon, man. These are the opinions of Brandon.
These are the opinions of Brandon. I put that on my shirt. These are the opinions of Brandon.
She's loving this. She's loving hearing what others.
I'm so skeptical. If someone called me that, I would be like, that's absolutely correct. That's going to happen. I'm not going to say anything. I would literally be like, that's probably right.
That set in. But so like after I talked to William about it, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to be honest. If someone is telling me to protect my child, I'm about to protect my child.
Yeah.
So, you know, my husband, sometimes he'll still, you know, celebrate our kids and like put that out there. But me, I'm sheltering our kid a little bit more. You know, nowadays I just put up pictures like every once in a while of my kids and say stuff, but I will never be like, hey, my son is doing X, Y, and Z, my daughter is doing this at this age because of what he told me. And I am mama bear for real, y'all. When I say you can't even watch my kids, like unless I have to know.
You have to be like grandma, grandpa.
No, seriously. And then like the first person who watched my babies, I dropped them off, and then like I was calling 15 minutes like, hey, so what are my babies doing? They was like, girl, if you don't go to work. I'm like,
you know, it's funny that you say this about being advanced, because I just remember I had a dream like about 5 or 6 months ago that I had a baby, and that for some reason within days the baby developed into like crazy things within days. It was just very random. Like I was like proud of the baby. I was like, this is the most insane, like excellent child or whatever. But I actually had a dream about that
Book of Ezra talks about these things, and even if what I was telling, because of what you just said, I've realized even if what I was telling you wasn't necessarily your child didn't fit into that category, I feel like it was probably still Ruach using that to just let you know, hey, your child has a destiny, and to protect them. I've had my parents always tell me of situations of people telling them things about me or prophesying, or my near-death experiences even as a child. So you know.
No, so we, our kid's godmother is also a prophet, and so she and another prophet had told us about our daughter when she was when I was pregnant with her. They told us about her gift, and I was blown away because everything that I was experiencing, especially when I was pregnant, like they backed it up, and they were like, "This is what God said. This these are her gifts. Allow her to do X, Y, and Z." So I was just like, okay. And then my son, that's a whole nother story. He's my promised child, but another story, another day.
Yeah. We could probably talk all day on this subject, right?
It's my baby.
But all right, cool. Shoot, let's go into some current events. Take us away, Deja.
So you guys know that I'm following the refugee crisis heavily. I hear about articles about refugees in different places around the world and how they're stuck at borders. But recently, this week, I'm going to read from a Fox News article about thousands of Venezuelan refugees that have arrived at a border under a bridge in Texas. And so there was a similar story around this time last year, but it was thousands of Haitians that came in on these boats, makeshift boats, just very extremely dangerous voyages to get here. And they arrived, I guess, through word of mouth, that there was some opening here under this same bridge in Texas. And so thousands got through, and then after that, the word got back, and thousands more came. They got stuck. And I think the U.S. ended up deciding to fly them back to Haiti. Like they filled planes and literally flew, because they're like, you guys cannot come here. Like, so same thing's happened with the Venezuelans. And
they've been literally bringing Afghanistans here, like men, by the way, not women and children.
And that's the other thing about this. They're mostly men. So thousands of predominantly Venezuelan adult illegal immigrants moved to Texas, who are moving into Texas and gathering under a nearby bridge on Wednesday, reminiscent of the Haitian immigrant crisis about 2 years ago. just as numbers are starting to skyrocket at the border. So they're estimating that there was about 4,000 some individuals who showed up at Eagle Pass, and many of them said they arrived from Venezuela, and some said they came on a train from Mexico. And so basically they are just waiting and hoping. I think that there was a law that changed in Texas, and so due to this, the rumor got out that if you get there, they will detain you, and they'll have to let you out in some odd number of days based on a law that just changed this week. And so I think that the U.S. is having a really hard time getting on top of this. Last week I talked about the immigration crisis that's happening in the city of New York, where there were like just pretty much boatloads. Over 100,000 immigrants have moved into the city of New York in the last year. And so for that, kind of getting into political talk, there's why there continue to be these disagreements between Democrats and Republicans on how to handle this, because the Republicans are claiming that they think that Democrats are allowing and wanting open borders because it gives them access to more voters who would vote Democrat, and the Democrats think that the Republicans are wanting to mistreat and do a humanitarian crisis type of thing, where it's like, this isn't our problem, so we're gonna mistreat people, put them in cages, blah blah blah. So I'm curious, how would you guys go about it? If you were politicians, how would you handle these kind of migrations, and like, should they just kick them out or should they take care of them?
Me personally, so you know what's so interesting? I'm gonna go to a biblical view of this, right?
Okay.
There's a scripture in Isaiah and Jeremiah where the Most High is talking, like, Israelites. He's talking about how Israelites are gonna go into slavery, and then he starts prophesying against Egypt, like, you can go run to Egypt, you can go and try to think you're gonna be safe there, and do all of this, but you're not. These curses will come upon you until you turn back to the Most High, right? And I mean, really look at it, right? Think about it. You have people who are, and some people are living in really bad conditions, but a lot of people just want to kind of come to America because they think all their problems are going to be solved. But it's like you have so many people running to America because they think it's going to be their saving grace. And I think of these verses in the Bible where the Most High is like, running to Egypt isn't going to save you. Running to the hub of the world ain't going to save you. Trust in me. And so that's how I look at these perspectives. Like, if I was to actually grow up amongst my tribe in Kenya, the Kikuyu people, I mean, obviously I didn't have that experience, but how could I want to come to this country? You know what I mean?
But if you're in a place where there's lots of corruption and people are hungry,
of course.
And I heard in Venezuela, apparently there's like a level of like muck on all things because of they're producing oil and they've allowed that to ruin their crop, and the air pollution and quality. So you can't imagine walking outside and everything is covered in oily muck, and people can't breathe and people are sick. Like, you would probably leave too.
Yeah, well, like I led with, I definitely know there are places that are worse, right? But I guess it's just a thing of just really think. If I had the same mindset I had, right, and knowing who we are and knowing what the word is, and growing up in some place outside of America, I guess I would just hope that I would be able to make the correlation between Egypt and America, or Babylon and America, and make a better decision on where to flee to, or where to go to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when I see them bringing only men in, middle-aged men,
It looks like war.
that look, my look is that, they're our government is working for these other people. It's going to be in-country invasion. Because they're bringing these middle-aged, not women and children.
Yeah, it's men.
But men, right? So when you compare that to the Haitian situation, these are just people really trying to get to a better
things
life.
are terrible in Haiti.
Families, right?
Yeah, we've talked about that ever since the president was assassinated in Haiti. Some would say they are terrorists. Others would say that they are standing up for the people. But like, the militia of individuals who just picked up guns are the government now. And so there's no access to hospitals. They're sending missionaries down there. They're like kidnapping people, kidnapping kids. Like, it's uninhabitable in Haiti, and then they are hit with earthquakes. And we were going to talk about natural disasters going on around the world, but there's other places where people are fleeing due to simply flooding. Not only is there civil war going on, there's flooding and earthquakes. Yep. You can't even stay. That's not a land that is habitable. Like, you can stay in there and die, or you can try and make a journey and walk 20-some thousand miles.
Yes, I mean, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like that place is cursed. I ain't gonna lie to you.
The thing about Haiti, my bad, go ahead.
No, that's
the thing about Haiti, this is what I read the Testament of Levi, right? So there's these scriptures for anybody that doesn't know, but there's basically deathbed words of every Israelite brother. And it's called the Testament of Asher, Testament of Judah, Testament of Levi, right? The Testament of Levi, Levi talks about how, and I wish I found it in time, but Levi talks about how he knows that in the future the Most High is going to use the Levites to free Judah out of a captivity. Right, and if most Haitians kind of attribute what tribes they come from as descendants of Levi, and a lot of Black Americans consider themselves tribe of Judah. Even though, in my personal opinion, I do think a lot more of us might be Northern Kingdom,
right?
Be Asher, right? But to the Kikuyu, and it's literally, it's like we would not be in where we are if it wasn't for Haiti. Because Haiti fought with us in the Civil War, right? Yeah. And it's kind of like, I look at it as America really jacking this place up.
Oh yeah.
Like, as you guys helped get rid of our slaves and stuff like that, and so now we go, look, man, Nikola Tesla, like I said, Nikola Tesla, his earthquake machine. I mean, we know about HARP, weather control companies. I think they're being bombarded with the same way in the story of Job, the Most High allowed Satan to send all these things.
Yeah.
The Satan is terrorizing these people.
They're known for doing a lot of witchcraft and evil in Haiti, and this isn't something I heard online.
And Catholicism is huge there too. Idol worship.
Yeah.
They do a lot of those practices, and I've heard this from patients. Like, this isn't something I saw like on the news or something. Like, I had a good friend who's from there, and he was pretty much just telling me his experience. This is before I knew much about spiritual warfare, but he's like, this stuff is real. My grandfather committed himself to Satan, and so that is in my bloodline. Like, I'm a Christian and I've prayed against it, but I know this. I'm aware. He's telling me he's aware, and he's like, he showed me a few things in Haiti where it appears to be a Christian church, and they're doing praise and worship, and there's women in white, and they're doing all these rituals, and he's like, they're worshiping Satan. Like, to me, it looked like a Baptist church.
Wow.
And service, and praise dancing, and they're this, and people are in a circle, and he's like, this is what it looks like, and this is what they're doing. I had never seen anything like that, and that's very heavy popular in Haiti.
Sounds like Catholicism, low key.
So what if it's not the weather machine? What if it's the Most High, like, causing these things?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I do understand that, but again, like, the thing about what I've realized, or in my studies, is that the Most High doesn't interject into the affairs of humanity until His people actually call, until His people get right.
Open your mouth.
Right?
Okay.
So what He does is He just takes His hand off.
Yep.
And He allows Satan or the powers that be to have their way with Him. When I study end time prophecy, I look at it as, this isn't necessarily the Most High doing all these things. He's letting the wicked have their way until He finally judges at the end and does His thing. You know, so I still look at that the same way.
Yeah, I think I mean, just going back to like the refugees and their perspective on it. Because I've been to like third world countries, I think of them wanting to leave their places and coming to America as like, okay, like, it's better for me to have these so-called first world problems than my third world problems, sort of say. Like, there's so much corruption in Venezuela. I think probably like there's like just a larger wealth disparity in Venezuela because there's less people there in comparison to the United States. Now, there's still a crazy wealth disparity here in the United States, but there's still more opportunity here, and it's like, well, I might as well, if I'm gonna roll the dice, I might as well be in the United States where there's a little bit more opportunity. I already got some family there. Like, let's just try and go ahead and migrate there. But my thing is like, we're getting to the times where nowhere is gonna be safe.
Yeah.
And it's just like, eventually where it's going to be every man go back to your home. So Negroes go back to Africa.
You know what?
I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not going anywhere. They need to tell me exactly where I'm from in Africa for me to think I'm going back to Africa.
Yeah,
I'm Native American, so I ain't going nowhere.
Well, you know what the collective issue with a lot of people moving to places is? Ignoring the verse. If my people, should call by my name and humble themselves and pray, I'll hear their land. There isn't a collective enough of people in these countries and places that will actually do these things, and the Most High will show up and show out. Yeah, we see the Most High do these things in our individual lives, but we don't. We have not done this as a community. Look, Christianity ain't gonna do it. Okay, Islam, Judaism, whatever. None of these religious titles or systems are going to come. You just really have to have that collective of just real believers come and act like, and that's why the Bible always just prophesies of bringing Israel back into their own land and restoring their heritage and stuff, because he's showing that he knows that as this awakening happens, people are going to be more open to come together as a collective, right, and not just do things individually. I think we're seeing those rumblings in our life, as we commune between literally two different congregations, you know what I mean? And we talk about business more and possibly doing things together in business and things like that, so I just think, that's my whole thoughts on that, I would just hope if I was in that situation, I could look at what's happening through a biblical perspective,
right,
and not just make that kind of decision, right? Because according to the word, me moving to America from my third world country isn't going to do nothing for me. Because if we realize this is spiritual Babylon or Egypt, however you see it, America is going to get judged probably before these other countries for real,
You said everything going on in the world is just literally setting up for Armageddon. Like the Euphrates River, like everything is headed there.
Yeah, for sure.
Just trying to get right with the Lord.
Yeah, for sure. So
you mentioned working together as a business, as far as like pulling our wealth and doing this as a nation in order to fix our place, and that kind of brings us into our topic. So this week we wanted to talk about entrepreneurship and the word, and basically why should we control our own wealth.
Well,
why? Yeah, so that's what we're going to speak on. When Brandon returns, why should we control our own wealth, and the importance of entrepreneurship, and how we can prove this in the word.
Okay.
Nobody got anything?
We was waiting on you to get back.
You ain't gonna wait on me. I could have kept it going.
You're our host.
Don't do that. Anyways, well, okay. So I guess I go first. I guess. I think because it's simple. It's a commandment. Our blueprint for life. Our lives have to be what the Most High commanded Israel to be. The Israelites, or Yasharal, if I'm going to go through the Hebrew term, Yasharal, they were the Most High's chosen people. They were the littlest people, the poorest people, right? They were beneath everybody, and the Most High made them on top of everybody, of all the nations for a time,
I still
when they were doing
where it says that they were little, physically small, because I don't think that's a fact.
Off topic, another conversation for another day, but heard, noted.
I gotta know.
Well, if you do look at Flavius Josephus, in his book, gotta look it up. I'll put it on screen. But eyewitness account of the Messiah, and basically he described the Messiah as black-skinned, curly hair, a line in the middle of the head in the fashion of the Nazarenes, and he's 4'5".
4'5" is crazy. Like,
I mean,
that is
very small.
Well, the thing is, look at the Pygmy people or the Pygmy tribe is the shortest tribe people. My mom
heavily has pygmy on her side. Really explains why I'm my height, to be honest, right? Seriously, I have a lot of pygmy in my DNA. They're the shortest tribe, right?
Yeah.
And if some would say they're descendants of Canaanites, some would say they mix with Hebrews, right? I do definitely believe they mix with Hebrews. But if you see that this is a tribe, right? It was untainted. They didn't really mix too much with a lot of other people, excuse me. And we know about the giants of old.
Yeah.
Well, as Africanish people who were most likely shorter people started mating with the Neanderthal or the giants, right? Well, height, being very tall, would be more of a recent thing in humanity if we're thinking about mixing over time.
Yeah, there weren't all these preservatives and additives to the food.
It's
back in the
hormones.
day, so we're pretty juicy people.
Brandon's just partial toward people that are small because he's shorter. Like, so it's like this
Look
is
at
a
her
trait from the Messiah.
Look at her trying to pie me on the podcast.
felt
Good
that.
thing my masculinity ain't movable. Anyways, you
Yes.
tried it.
Like, it's like another reason that you have in common with the Messiah. Like that, I don't know if they were small.
Look, man. Again,
I do think that they were
that's
like
why I
the-
come with
the-
sources, not opinion.
I do think the Hebrews throughout the word, like I feel like they were a lot short. Like their average height was probably like you know how a male's average height is like 5'10",
Yeah, 5'9",
5'9", whatever. Like their average height was probably like 5'2", 5'3", maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're probably shorter.
4'5" is
For
like
sure.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, back to
But
the top
back
of
to
it.
the entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Most High, I mean, Deuteronomy 28, you say he'll set them, above and be the lender, not the borrower. You know what I mean? You can't be that person employed, and so if we're going to
I
operate,
was gonna say.
I question that a little.
Yeah,
Well, I
but you
mean,
can be
well,
employed
well-
and still be,
well,
Well,
well, no. So,
Like, what if you have
and
an
no,
employee?
I'm
They
saying,
just work for
I'm
you.
saying to another nation of people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, let's put it like this. I'm an Israelite, so I'm gonna just talk like I know I'm an Israelite. Okay, right? So I'm an Israelite. The word commands me, right, as me Israelite, to create wealth, to establish a inheritance for my, my children, right? And we know the word talks about using our gifts, to their fullest ability and everything. If I'm doing those things, then I'm going to be working for myself or doing my own thing, or at least in conjunction with my tribe or the nation I'm a part of, right? Whether I'm a tribe of Asher working with tribe of Judah, that's still Torah. We're working together as a nation, right?
Yeah.
The same way the disciples weren't even a part of the system of that day. They shared goods, right? They shared goods with each other. They shared income. We might know the story of the two people that stole from the community and they died right on the spot in front of Paul. Did you ever read about that?
Yes, we did.
Right? They withheld money.
Ananias and someone else? I don't know. But
Yeah, I forget.
I know the
It's an
story
axe.
though.
Yeah. And so, so if we're really following these commandments, like all of them, right, applying to our lives, then we would have exhausted our gifts, which our gifts would made room and make money for us, and be working together as believers. Even if you're not a bloodline, if you're a Gentile and you're saved, you're an Israelite too, right? So we should be working together who have the same faith in the Messiah, right? Whatever you go by, Yahusha, Yeshaya, Jesus, whatever, right? We should be able to work together these ways and not for the system, the government system.
I agree
Yeah,
with you.
that's good.
And I think the issue with, well, not the issue, but the perspective with the system is that as I've read the Bible, I've started to understand that first off, it's a kingdom structure, and in a kingdom structure there's commonwealth, that all the citizens share. And I think with the system that we are in, capitalism, this republic, sort of say, with basically the United States being a corporation, and then there's all these other corporations that just give you handouts type stuff, but they're only the wealth is only held by a few. there's this sense of like okay, so I don't know if I'm making sense, but like how I relate it back to the Bible is when I would read about slavery in the Bible, and I would read about actual like bond servants. Like you would be a bond servant for like a certain amount of time, and then your debt would be paid off, and then you'd be kind of free. So like in my perspective of that, it's like, well, the bond servant was working for someone who actually had their own business for a certain amount of time to pay off a debt that they owed to the person. So it reminds me like of working 9-to-5, which I do, but like think of like the Most High wanted for His people to have their own trades, to be running and facilitating the kingdom that they were in, and not necessarily being in bond servitude. Like just the word says, it's I'll set you above all the nations, and you'll be the lender, not the borrower. But I think like it's just there's no way that we as Negroes are going to be able to have our own I don't want to say like society, but like economic structure where you got education, medicine, technology, industrial goods, like all those things coming together without just having our wealth communally, communal based. I've been reading this Marcus Garvey book here. I'll come back to a quote, or actually maybe I'll find it now. But okay, here it is. Perfect. It's like I knew I was gonna say this. This is the words of Marcus Garvey here. A race that is solely dependent upon another for its economic existence sooner or later dies. And that's all I'll say about that. But it's like we have to be self-reliant. We also have to support each other. I think that's like just super vital. And I think like I'm realizing like my grandparents and my parents, like they're kind of like total lie. In regards to like just working for the system, like 30, 40 years, like, and then you'll be set. My parents have assets, but they're not like really assets that the Gentiles or like pagans or like, just other types of people groups have, whether they're here in the United States or around the world. So it's like, don't really have as much wealth. That's why there's like such a great wealth disparity. But entrepreneurship is really key, whether it's like you're getting a trade or you have a business or like a service that you're providing. That's really it's the key to truly building generational wealth, which is what the Bible says, and passing down, like to give an inheritance to your children's children, which is generational wealth.
I had a client who worked for the FBI, man, and she did not want to take the jab, right? And they were forcing her. She's like, I don't want to take it. She coming to our sessions, man. They sending me these emails, and I only got 1 year left. We got 1 year left, and I'm gonna get my retirement. Blah blah blah. And they're making me do this, and I'm like, look, they're literally dangling it over your face.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've worked all these years, and they're willing to take it back if you don't take this.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And
no
lo and behold, she kind of just fell off the face of the earth, one day, and I don't know what decided, but it's just like, like you can really think your company has you, but you're replaceable, man. And honestly, a story you can go off as leading up to the Exodus, right? With Joseph coming the king of becoming the Pharaoh of Egypt, right? His brothers and the Hebrews had to come to Egypt for grain during that time. Next thing you know, they stay, and over time they become slaves. Like, there you go. Like, we should want to put ourselves in the best possible where we don't have to depend on the system, especially when that system is not going off of the laws of the Most High.
Yeah.
I agree. And so you read from Marcus Garvey, and obviously the message that he had for our people was so dangerous that they did anything to silence him. They pretty much threw him in jail, put all kind of accusations on him. A lot of people actually don't even know his legacy or what he was all about.
Yeah.
I really learned more about Marcus Garvey because of Dr. Umar and him. He spoke on it because he's a descendant of Marcus Garvey.
Oh, really?
So that's what even ever started his movement and this about the black community and pulling our wealth. He's getting this because Marcus Garvey is like brothers to his grandfather, something like that.
Okay.
But that was his message. His message was all about us creating our own nation, our own wealth. We talked about integration versus segregation. He was definitely a segregationist, and he's saying, like, let's build our own, let's do our own banking, and that's the only way we'll ever have anything in life. And when it comes to the working for corporations, I do work. Well, first of all, I work for 3 Black-owned businesses. But one of them is, like, a very large organization. So in a sense, I do work for a corporation. But the thing about working for a corporation is that, like you said about your grandparents, if your grandparents do this, they work for the corporation, they get their retirement, and then when it's time for their kids to work, they go ahead and do the same thing. They work for another corporation, they get retirement. Yeah. When it's time for their grandchildren to come along, they're going to have to do the same thing. They're not passing down something that is like cash flowing, which means that I'm pretty much just giving my child to the same system, because all I could do was obtain, like, pretty much make enough money to pay off my house and leave something in the bank, and now my child has to come behind me and work for another corporation, and then theirs after them, until you build something that you can pass down.
So what I will say, I'm gonna be a little black sheep right now.
Oh, we do that strong over here. Let's go.
Come on. Okay, so I want to kind of like talk about some of everything that y'all said, because entrepreneurship is important. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for going on 3 years now. I'm all for creating a community. Like, in a perfect world, my husband and I will grab some of our friends. We would go far away from Metro Atlanta as possible. We would make a community and say, hey, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to have a grocery store, you're going to have the hospital. Like, in a perfect world, that's what we
start
want.
a cult.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
probably not that.
Just joking.
But in a perfect world, our friends, you guys are going to go be owners of this business. This is vital for the community, right? But I'm also in the position where somebody has to work for these companies.
Yeah. Right.
So, like, entrepreneurship is okay. Like, it's great. You can build generational wealth. But I've read this book called The $1 Million Teacher. And it's about a high school teacher. And he's like, look, they don't pay us enough. I have to generate wealth for my family. And it's not a faith-based book, but he talks about how he had to make so many sacrifices, and he had to be smart, and he had to invest in this and do that to become a $1 million teacher. And so I just thought that was dope, because, like, yeah, he's working for this system. Like, he once he's retired, he's gonna get his pension and all this other stuff. But he's also saying, like, I have to leave something for my kids. I have to leave something for them. And so this is my way of doing it. So if I can skip out on Starbucks for X, Y, and Z, I'm going to save this money and I'm going to put it in this index fund. Or I'm going to, for instance, he was like, he moved closer to where he worked. So he gave away his car and he rode a bike. Like, it's stuff like that. So I can't do that. But, entrepreneurship is so important, because, like, in my opinion, God called me and my husband to be entrepreneurs, because he said, look, this is my business. Right. You are going to steward over it well, but you're going to bless people through the business. And so when people, like, I have so many people coming up to us like, oh my God, thank you for, like, being in business. We're inspired. Don't give me the credit. This is God's business. Yeah. I'm literally just managing it. Yeah. That's it. Like, the idea, man, we was not baking cookies. Right. Like, you feel me? So, I just think that entrepreneurship is important, but it's also, like, really important for you to have somebody who said, look, I'm going to support you because of, like, this is the mission, this is what we're doing, and I'm going to come and work for you. But if we all support each other like we're supposed to, everybody can win. Yeah. It's just we all have to know the mission. People get greedy. You got a lot of lazy people. But, it is okay to not be an entrepreneur and still build generational wealth. You just got to be smart enough to know how to. But entrepreneurship is so dope, though. It has its ups and downs. Yeah. But it's dope.
Right.
I don't think that everyone is built for entrepreneurship.
No.
Like,
which is A-okay. You know what I mean? For other people.
Literally, like, I don't know. I don't feel like, for myself, being in the finance industry, I know, like, at 26, I'm not gonna be able to like go start my own bank or like my own financial institution just yet.
Not yet.
Just because like I had to learn like kind of how the system works, and I'm giving myself like some time to like be a worker in the system to get to know like the different aspects of it. But even like I do when I do feel like I become a full-time entrepreneur, I'll be able to come from the sense of like when I do have employees, like I don't want for you to feel like how I felt when I worked for a corporation, if that makes sense. Like, you know, like I want for you to feel like you can tell me about, you know, the content that you put out, like what you're doing on the side, so that I can help you out, especially if they're Hebrews or black, you know, or just people that love the Lord, that gummit. So it's like
a favor.
Yeah. I think it's like if you're willing to be a leader and the boss of the company that the Most High blesses you with, to be the manager of, I think it's better that you do it than someone who's just in it for
the money,
you know, and mammon.
And so I want to clarify something. So I wasn't personally saying everybody needs to be an entrepreneur, right?
Okay.
What I'm saying is, as believers, right, we should be able to have our own wealth, our own system. Okay, so Israel is a nation, right? A nation of people, right? We had our own tongue, their own culture, everything, separate from Assyrian, separate from Egyptian, separate from Rome, right? They had all this. The Most High, we know, Israelites are scattered across the world. They're no longer a nation, right? But because we know, according to the renewed covenant, if you accept the Messiah, you are an Israelite. Okay? There's no replacement theology. If you're whether you're a Gentile or a natural blooded Israelite, if you are Israelite and you reject the Messiah, you're no longer Israelite. If you are a Gentile and you accept the Messiah, you are Israelite. You have to know the Messiah to be an Israelite. It doesn't matter if you're blood or not. If we are renewed covenant Israelites, Jew or Gentile, or Gentile Israelite, natural branch or wild branch, we should be working together.
Yeah.
That's my point is we shouldn't be. Obviously, we're in our place of captivity, so we're taking these stepping stones of working for the system, being employed by the system. But according to the word, we should be only employed by another believer. Okay. Now, granted, we do have stories in the word where Daniel, the book of Daniel, he was eunuch. He worked for Babylon, essentially, right? We had these stories where Joseph, he worked for Egypt, you know what I mean? We have stories of where our ancestors worked for these other systems because they were in captivity, right? But according to that Deuteronomy 28, our goal should be to get back to working together as believers outside of the world system. And so I'm not necessarily saying that we should all be entrepreneurs, but our goal should be we don't have to depend on the system. Granted, we know the Most High can use the government to bless us, right? We know he can use our enemies to. The word shows how he uses the enemies to bless Israel time and time again, right? But as this system gets a tighter hold on humanity, when they start rolling out these pay with your palm and pay with your eyes and get the chip, right? No, exactly, right? So can we still go with that mindset, right, of being employed by the system, or do we have to compromise our biological? We will not. They're literally saying on television, blatantly in the World Economic Forum, you will not be able to participate in society without a chip. This is what they're saying in the World Economic Forum. You won't. So we see the Bible coming alive in our faces. So this is why I feel like it's important to see, okay, who has what skills, who can employ each other as believers.
And there's enough of us with enough range, like, in our skill set and things that we do, like what you were describing. So like for someone like me, or even like Elijah who works in finance, what I do is bookkeeping, so I could do that for any business, any place, in the world. Like that's the kind of skills that we really want to lean our young people into and kind of encourage them to go those routes. Like, go and obtain a skill that you can use this anywhere, any place. Right. You can do it independently, or you could do it for another business. Like, there's lots of women out there who have catering and cooking, and maybe that's not super popular right now, but a time will come where
we're gonna need it.
Being able to make whole food, good food from scratch is going to be like super valuable, because people are going to move away from eating at these chain restaurants and these places. Now all of a sudden, all those women out there who do this just for a little money on the side are going to become super important, crucial. So we want to push that. We want people to go into trades, and we want men to learn how to build things, understanding electrical systems and all that. That stuff is like super valuable. It may not look like it to the world right now, but those things are going to matter.
Trades are important.
They are. People be sleeping on trades. It's crazy. I just heard an interview, and this girl was like, she'll never date a plumber. I was like, girl, bye.
Like
what?
He can literally build. He can build your house for you.
Like build your house.
Those are. Oh, I hate when I hear that type of content.
Girl,
the gender war things and women saying this crazy thing, because like. Then there's the opposite. I hear TikTok trends about blue collar man or whatever, and like women are like, blue collar man still, or like, I'm trying to find a blue collar man is a thing. Like,
Israelites are hand on people, man. They built Egypt. They built up all these nations they were a part of. They built up America.
Right.
Click, hint. Okay. So it's like, what are y'all talking about, yo? Like, you're talking about society builders. Yeah. People that you would not be able to survive. You'd be living out in the forest in a tent. You're not about that life. Can you survive? Like, you know what I mean?
You can't have all just like theoretical types of people and thinkers and creatives like
just painters.
Since the 1800s, we've seen in society that there has to be industry.
And I'm a visual artist, like, bro, I can't. What am I going to do with that other than like?
What if the electricity didn't go
Put
out?
a smile on people's face.
Yeah, right, man. Anyways,
it's okay. The people who make comments like that.
Yeah.
They just they'll be single. That's why there's more women than men. These women will.
What's that Isaiah verse? And 7 women shall lay hold to one man. Who am I? Let me stop.
It saddens me that that's one of your favorite references.
It's really not, but it's not my favorite. Is sad. But I think it's funny in the feminism agenda and the shame men agenda. So I just think it's funny. It's just funny because it's like, y'all, we all out here bad, but y'all out here bad. And why? Like, what's up, man? I just need people to really understand what's going on.
Imagine how romantic it would be for a man to build you a house. Just saying, ladies. If a man built me a house, I probably would shut up. I do everything he said. I would just be so agreeable. Like, I would be very pleasant.
No, seriously.
Every now and again, I just go. When I get online, I just go touch a wall, something, go touch the floor, be like, you know what? Okay, let me.
He did this with
let me
his
get it
hands.
Together. He did this with his bare hands. Let me really just.
Because of craftsmanship.
Yeah, listen. That's how you get. My man can't build no house, but he can pay them bills, baby. Listen, I go up to that light switch like, you did that.
Yeah.
You paid that bill. What? We gonna cook this dinner that you provided for us. Come on, stop playing.
That's how you make a relationship work. Pay the bills.
But is dope what you said about, of course, how this is the Most High's business. You're just a manager.
Absolutely.
And that's how I went into my Get Gains at Ghana LLC. When I was meditating and praying and on building this business like 3 months and quitting Anytime Fitness, I was like, like I'm gonna be tied you out of this. You know what I mean? Like, this is yours, and it really has been ministry. And that's just really just as believers how we should go about business. Like, when you do work, even when you're working for the man, you should do it as if you're working unto Yah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, that's just how we should always approach any work that we do, whether it is, our own business or employment, is do it unto the Most High. And, he'll bless us with the opportunities and, the desires of our heart that align in His will,
Right.
So.
Yes. Good way to end this great conversation that we could probably talk about for another 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we all have that entrepreneurial spirit to us. And all also love the word,
Yeah, for sure.
We'll have to come back to that one eventually on another episode.
All right.
Absolutely.
Alternative thoughts.
So y'all put me on something. I didn't know about this. I guess it's kind of like a current event, alternative thought. Apparently, there is a predicted shutdown on October 4th of all, is it phones only? And this is a FEMA testing.
Yes.
So
Okay.
tell us about that.
The United States is set for a media blackout alarm come October 4th. This is from MSN.com. I'll just read.
It's also on the FEMA website, too.
Yeah, it's on the FEMA website, guys. So this is not a joke, dadgummit.
It's not conspiracy theory.
Not conspiracy theory. These are facts rooted in the government. Okay. But FEMA said the purpose of the October 4th test is to ensure that the systems continue to be effective means of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on the national level. So there's basically going to be an alarm that's going to sound on every mobile phone and probably like people's TVs and probably on the radio on October 4th, I think at 2:20 p.m. That's just like, hey.
It's such a specific time.
You know,
Yeah, this,
22.
I'm on, yeah.
Two.
This
What
it.
is 2 plus 2 plus 2?
Oh, well, it's 220. Not
Six?
222, but like 220. But it's just gonna say like.
okay.
But listen, it's just interesting that they're just preparing for it.
They're going to scare me. I'm glad y'all told me this is a warning because if that would have happened on whatever day, on October 4th at 2:20, I would have been like, oh my God, is this happening? The world, where should I go? I would leave work.
Yeah.
I would literally run to my car. So I'm glad y'all told us that this is a warning.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a predicted shutdown, but I do think it's part of, first off, conditioning us to get ready for publicly announced emergencies.
Right.
And also, it's just, for me, I think about like, oh, so they really, I mean, of course I knew this, but like, this is like all the more evidence to show like they have access to literally every device.
Yes. And can bring it all at once.
The quote unquote there's conspiracies, of course, behind this, right? Why are they doing this, right?
Why are they doing it?
You know, and this isn't my thoughts.
per se, but this is things that I've heard. But some people, you're like, you know, the graphene oxide, you know. Have you ever seen, do y'all know what graphene oxide?
No.
So y'all know how, like, movie Venom, you know, the black gooey stuff, or have you ever seen this black liquid that's like metallic?
Yeah.
Or like it moves, like you can play a beat or a frequency and it moves. Well, and you can do this research for yourself, but in the vaccine, you know, it said that there's graphene oxide in it, right? Which is interesting because when you think of all these movies, there's always been this black substance in like Marvel or whatever, like that, this technology, right? This is also it's came up during a Travis Scott concert, with people being jabbed with needles. People were talking about the frequency, the beat was making their head hurt, and people were acting crazy and demonic and going crazy.
You got jabbed at a concert for a concert?
No, so like people were running around sticking people with needles.
People.
Oh,
causing them to have heart attacks and stuff.
Yeah. Like,
crazy.
yeah, so that was at that Travis concert. But the thought is that they're gonna play a frequency or something's gonna be sent to your phone that would activate whatever is in you.
If you have it.
Right now, apparently it's supposed to affect everybody because shedding, vaccine shedding, right? Apparently people who've taken it will shed it onto other people, and so we would technically all have it in a sense. I think this goes into play that you can't say that is a mark of the beast because technically we all have nanoparticles and technology in us. You literally need to bank on a verse in the New Testament. I forget the chapter and verse, but they shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, they will, live. I think Paul quoted that, right?
The mark of the beast has to be willingly taken. It can't be involuntary.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, and it's not. But that's a conspiracy that this will activate, and it's going to be these people turn into mindless zombies, or people go crazy, or it's going to mess with people. And that's the thought behind it. What a lot of people think. I don't know, but what I do know is that at 2:00 p.m. I'm going to turn my phone off. I'm going to put it in a Faraday bag. If you guys don't know, I showed you last episode. Faraday bag is you put your phone in it and can't be tracked or nothing. And I'm going to go sit in the woods with my red blue-nosed pit bull, my swords and guns, and meditate for 2 hours.
Wait, why are we meditating with the weapons? Just curious.
Oh, just in case, people start running crazy out the neighborhoods and,
Okay.
the whole movie. There's movies that kind of show like mass hysteria or people going crazy, whether it's an infection movie or there's some movie where something was happened and it made just people go crazy. It wasn't like even an infection movie or something.
Yeah, it was like in the air.
Yeah, like, and so it's these predictive programming movies have people thinking that this is what they're leading up to. This is what this frequency is supposed to be. Who knows?
Who knows? But gosh dang it!
But I'm doing that.
Sober-minded on October 4th. Okay,
I can do at least that.
Yeah,
I can at least be sober-minded that day.
You want to be right minded and just be aware of what the frick is going on. I know I'll be in the office. I'm about to give me some a Faraday bag before then, and we just gonna have to see. There was something I wanted to say to your point.
Nothing feels good talking about FEMA though. To be honest, FEMA is just that company where you've just heard so many things
only
about,
negative.
crazy things.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Like
whenever
I associate them with like concentration camps or
gosh,
detaining large numbers of people for their safety.
Like that's where the guillotines went. That Obama
I think of the Uyghurs in China.
I gotta think about it.
I was gonna say, like, whenever I think of FEMA, I always think of the Uyghur camps in China. How they basically put them in a city that's under total surveillance. But back to the October 4th and the signal coming out. You guys know the SpongeBob movie with Plankton having the chum buckets.
Okay.
I know I'm like kind of like a child, but it's like
not at all.
That's
maybe I put a screenshot on TV.
Yeah, it reminds me of that, like all hail Plankton type stuff. So it'll be interesting. It's just conditioning us for. And I was actually gonna tie this back into the refugees and like thinking like, okay, they're only bringing males, which is very interesting. But what is really going to be needed for this humanitarian crisis to give the elites all the more control? You got like all these refugees coming in. We can't control the borders. They're getting put in New York. They're getting put in like these cities where like they just doesn't make any sense. Chicago, DC. And they're all, military age males. Oh, well, let's just go ahead and declare martial law, and just like, it's basically what the president says. Like, this is just crazy times. Not to say that this is gonna happen, but just a thought, that kind of.
It could. The thought that it could happen is enough.
And then tying that back with the FEMA.
Do y'all know who owns Amber Alerts? Who pushes that? Yeah. So like, who's behind that? I know the name Grizzly Maxwell or whatever her name. Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my God.
Her sister.
Wow.
That's creepy.
That is really creepy.
We'll have to talk about some of them sometime on our alternative thoughts.
Yeah.
As far as how they got away with what they did and like who runs it now that they're dead and gone.
Oh yeah.
Because it can't have it. Didn't
a lot of
stop.
Old Testament scripture will speak to that conversation. But
okay, y'all ready to hit financial news?
All right. What's your
Today
question?
is really not. It's not really news because I guess Elijah had no news for us. He just wants you to keep buying crypto. But I actually have a question. Like, is it still a good investment to invest in stock? Like, is the stock market kind of like old news? Like, is it still wise to invest in stock? That's the way they did it back in the day. You just buy stock, and just let it appreciate. But is that still a good investment, or is that old news?
Well, whenever we get to this section of the video for Kingdom OutKasts throughout all 15 episodes, you must know that none of this information is considered financial advice. You do this information as you please. But our stock's still a good investment.
So he doesn't get arrested.
Yeah. I'm not trying to lose my license.
Smart man.
Yeah.
But, I think our stock's still a good investment. I think any asset that has the opportunity to appreciate in value is a good investment.
It's technically a good investment.
I don't necessarily prescribe to a certain method of accumulating stocks, if that makes sense. So like I just like the way I look at stocks is a little bit different than just like okay, here's some Apple stock. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead. I'm gonna dollar cost average. We'll say it's $300 a share, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep purchasing it, and then eventually I'll have like 5% of Apple. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think that like that's necessarily the best way to invest in the stock market. So I don't think that like if you're talking about your long-term strategy or short-term strategy, which answer would you like?
Well, there was a time where the ideal diversification of investment would be to say that you have 50% of your assets in real estate. You have 20% of your assets in the stock market.
Yeah.
You have, money for the next 5 years in pretty much a high yield and savings account. Like, that's the way it was done. So now, does it still make sense? If I'm a millionaire, do I still want 20 to 25% of my assets tied up in the stock market?
It definitely.
I was just gonna say, I just think it just depends. Like, a lot of these smaller companies are getting bought up by the bigger companies. So it's probably like maybe invest in the bigger companies, really. Because they're the ones who's going to be around. Like,
I think. But I was just going to say, I think it depends on your risk appetite in relation to like what percentage of your portfolio has what types of assets. But I think that like right now when you're looking at the stock market, you can make money with like in the options world, which are stocks, like I'm just saying like, okay, I think the market's going to actually go down. I think the market's going to go down and you can make money that way. Or you say like the market's going to go up, you can make money that way.
Well, options are different because options are tied to commodities. Commodities are always going to be of value. But the idea of buying stock in corporations owned by the US of A, like that's the part where I question. Basically, if I were to answer this question, I know I asked it, but I would say no. I'd be like, it's not worth it to put a bunch of money into Microsoft and Apple and real estate companies. Like it once used to be a great idea. You could do the reason my brother asked, he's like, should I do the stock option with my job's benefits? Like, should he put some money in his check toward Autodesk stock? And I don't feel like there's any benefit for him to do that. A long time ago, that actually made people a lot of money. I don't think it would for him.
Yeah.
Have you gotten into investing at all?
So I let William do all that.
Okay.
So we have our roles in our relationship. He is everything financial.
That's cool.
So,
You hear that? Roles. Healthy.
Roles are healthy.
Before we got married, we have a mission for our marriage, like what we're trying to accomplish in our marriage. We have our roles. We understand what God says His roles are and what we're good.
I love that.
So all good. Financial, he'll let me know like this is where we are money wise, but stocks and stuff, he invests, he do all that.
Yeah.
See, my dad made the money, but my mom balanced the checkbook.
Okay.
So that's how my parents' dynamic was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the coupon. Like, I'm gonna save us some money. He gonna make it. And we gonna put it where it needs to go.
I like that.
But I'm gonna make sure we keep that money.
Have your roles together. I guess to answer your question, Deja, it depends on what
like how much money could I make investing in Apple? Okay,
Okay,
Apple
like-
is at the high right now.
Like, this is what I was saying. Like, options,
How much more
options are just bets.
can it appreciate?
Bets on security. So, like, options is not necessarily just commodities.
Add this to your
Can
answer.
the value of Microsoft continue to appreciate? Infinity?
Okay,
It's at
wait.
the high.
I want you
Okay,
to add this to your answer too, with the knowledge that the dollar is dying.
Yeah. Okay. With the knowledge that the dollar is dying, if you want to.
Like, I invest
Like,
in Disney
okay.
today. Is Disney going to be worth triple what it's worth 5 years from now? No. It's Disney.
not
It's
at all.
already at the high.
I don't think so. But I do think options would be a way to make more money quicker
Trading, Forex,
than trying to build an appreciation value over time.
But options are really heavily based on genuine supply and demand because it's based on commodities. So, like, the value of corn, there is genuine value in corn because it's neat. Like, people make different things out of maize and corn. So we know that this is a real thing that people need. And if one place has it, everyone's going to buy it. But the value of a company, they play with us. These companies are not even worth anything that they tell us that they are. They move the market. It's hypothetical. Yeah. But the value of oil, that's real. You can like, it's feasible. Like, this is oil. There's this many cans of oil is worth this. These many people need it. It's real.
Okay.
The value of Apple is not real.
Yeah, you're right. It's very much propped up by just all this free money that's been printed by the Fed. But I think
I think there are certain
I think
companies
that there's better.
you can
There's
still.
a lot better investments nowadays to put your money in if you want for your money to retain its store of value. So like, you could a better investment in stocks. Okay, over a 5-year term, would likely be silver and gold.
Which I've definitely
Whether it's held actually physically or even in like a
Physically
precious
it's
metals
probably
types
smarter.
of index.
Physically, it's probably smarter though.
Yeah, it is.
But the
And
index
so-
is real too, though, because
Yeah.
it means a hypothetical ownership.
Yeah,
It's
but
like-
what
and
if
it's
you can't? Technology doesn't work.
Yeah.
Now you
you
don't
can't
have
get
to
it
go
Like
to
you said,
silver.
like it's hypothetical. I also think certain cryptocurrencies are going to, they're like, when you think about stocks, their underlying value is really the United States dollar.
Right.
Because they're United States based companies. So like, and like their goods and their services are sold in the United States dollar bill. So like, we know that the United States dollar bill is going to continue to lose its value because they're going to keep printing it off, and basically what's going to be more valuable than the United States dollars is actually like having actual goods. Like, that's why we're seeing the cost of bread go up and eggs go up. So like, as we are getting away from the United States dollar and that stocks are denominated in United States dollar bills, I do think certain cryptocurrencies, because there's a finite amount of cryptocurrencies with the certain cryptocurrencies that I'm referring to, like XRP, XLM, XDC, like the ones that are ISO 20022 related that are going to be used by banks and financial institutions, kind of the same way that the United States dollar bill is used in a global sense for payment systems. Those certain cryptocurrencies will be good assets to have in over stocks, but I think real estate's a good investment. But like, I'm talking about investments that are like low capital intensive, like that don't cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like where you have to take out a mortgage or something.
Yeah, low entry. Like
Yeah,
low barrier to entry.
Yeah, low barrier to entry. So, but I do still think like, I mean, like, I've got some option plays out, and options aren't solely with commodities. Like, it's actually like let's say you think that the S&P 500 is going to go to like $200 by January. If it gets there, like that's a strike price. Like that's still based on stocks. So like, it's not necessarily just like oil and beef and like commodities, but I do think that it just really depends. It depends on like really is.
I think
it's a lot of questions.
Like,
but-
I would put faith
personally,
in-
I think
in
that
it.
there's value there. I think there's still value. You just have to make the smart decision. You have to
You're
be
right.
able to foresee. Okay, I see this company
Yes.
coming out, and it could be big. If I'm seeing that a RFID chip is going to be a thing, okay, cool. I'm gonna
me
buy some
invest
stock.
in it.
I ain't
Yeah.
gonna do it, but
Yeah.
I'll buy some stocks into it. If I see that I don't know, we're going in a drought and water is getting scarce. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put some stocks in Primo or something like that. You know,
Coca-Cola.
it's really just a thing of kind of seeing the current events as well.
Yeah.
Like that's how traders do, right?
Yeah.
They look at the current events, they look at the news, so they can see what's going to happen. They trade.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with stocks, but of course it's just a longer play. You
Yeah.
have to kind of foresee: is this company about to blow up because of what agendas are coming?
Yeah.
Like I think really agendas are really kind of head what companies are gonna be doing what, you know.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
of the companies
I
that made
see.
probably the most money off was Moderna. Actually,
Really?
That's
Because
a stock.
you had no idea that they would create like.
I knew
produce
that they were in the running for like
fast.
the top 4 or 5 to get contracts for putting out vaccines. So I was like,
There are people.
and
Yeah.
it was like before they actually got big, and I was like, okay, well let me go ahead and buy some shares. And I just sold them, but
Yeah, there are people
Yeah,
against the
it's
vaccine
decision.
who bought stocks in the vaccine
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
made money. Like,
yeah,
so yeah, there's I definitely think there's still value in doing
In the
stocks.
stock
yeah,
market.
yeah.
Okay.
I agree too. It's just
Good stuff.
Maybe not as
knowing
much.
the agendas, like just knowing the agendas that are to foresee. Like, okay, a good example, Nvidia. I believe that they're like a chip company. Now we know that China's out here doing military exercise over Taiwan, and Taiwan is a huge. It's like
The
the
hub for
largest.
all
Yeah, it's the largest exporter
chip
of all
manufacturing.
chips. So if Nvidia's got their main plant there,
It'd be worth putting some money in there.
it might be valuable
Okay.
come the future. So
Good stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
I like that answer. That's a good answer. Because I was like, man, screw the stock market. I must go get extra creative on them. But, you know, that's not, I don't even probably even need to do all that.
Yeah, right. Well, shoot, man. I think we've had a good episode so far.
Our first guest.
For sure,
Yes.
yeah, making history with us.
Thank y'all for having me.
Nah, I appreciate you coming through,
Yes,
for
we
real. It was good seeing you again, catching up and having this, being on air again, or video again. You know, I want you to go ahead and share, you know, of course, you know, your business endeavors. Where can people find your business and websites and all of that?
So, I'm Mimi. I'm the Sugar Mama, Sugar Daddy Cookies. We offer a wide variety of cookies, including vegan, soon-to-be protein cookies, gluten-free, and sugar-free. So we're just trying to make sure that we cater to everybody in Atlanta. We are located in Lenox Square in the food court. You can get you some warm cookies, lemonades,
Good
all
location.
that. But if you want to shop online, we do pickup, delivery, and shipping. Go to sugardaddycookiesatl.com.
Perfect. And then is that your Instagram too, Sugar Daddy?
Yeah, Sugar Daddy Cookies ATL. Follow us.
For sure.
Thank you very much.
For sure.
Got another cookie plug. Hallelujah.
I know, right?
with it.
Sweet tooth, just keep sweetening it up.
I tell you, man. Goodness gracious.
Y'all might put Crumble out of business. I mean, I don't know.
Yo,
'Cause I love Crumble.
I just had Crumble
Really?
for the first time Friday.
You like it?
Okay.
Crack.
Yeah.
really?
Okay.
But
Crumble's
Really
good.
sweet though. Lots of icing. That's kind
yeah,
of
that like
So-
that's diabetes.
Yeah. So it's crazy because I'm not a huge sweet person.
Okay.
And so when I'm having a dessert, I don't want to feel like my head is about to explode.
Yeah.
I want it to be a dessert, but I don't want it too sweet. So like for instance, I've been to Crumble before and I've had their blueberry muffin cookie and it was so good. The only thing is I wish it was more, it was baked a little longer. It had like a cakey feel to me.
They have that kind of undercooked.
Yeah.
feel.
So for me, a cookie, I need it to be baked a little longer, but I don't do icing because that like it's already sugar in the cookie.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
want to do icing on top of that, and then it's
The
too much.
concoctions we be eating.
Yeah. So with our cookies, they we start off in home baking. So we don't do any icing. It's just your standard cookies, chocolate chip, sugar, M&Ms, and stuff like that.
But they don't taste standard.
They don't.
It's good stuff.
So it's just we use natural ingredients. We don't use any preservatives, any chemicals, any additives or anything like that. And you can taste the quality. You feel me? But your sugar is not gonna like spike up because for instance, when I did a fast, I just tried somebody made me a cake and I was like, oh nope, can't do it. Like I feel my heart beating. Like why is I don't want this.
I'm not gonna die behind this cookie.
Yeah. So
In there.
we cut back on the sugar just because we are not trying to give people diabetes. We're trying to satisfy your sweet tooth, but we're not trying to have you in the hospital with a diabetic coma. Okay.
Yeah, we're not in conjunction with Big Pharma.
So I tell people all the time, if I'm actually about to go to my store and check on my people there. But I tell people, how can I satisfy your sweet tooth? That's all I want to do. I'm not trying to, get you all riled up with some sugar.
You know what's a good idea?
After this.
Good idea.
What?
For people who are like, dang, man, my sweet tooth, whatever. Is there a recipe or a kind of cookie that you come up with that you eat it and it satisfies your sweet tooth for a length of time? You know how people will take meal suppressants sometimes or things like that? Like a cookie suppressant. Like you're enjoying the sweet in that moment, but it suppresses
and you
your
guarantee
sweet tooth
you
or your
won't
appetite.
need another one for 2
No,
months.
that is something. Something to think about. I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably not gonna do it because I wouldn't have any customers.
Oh yeah. Well, no,
I need them to come back.
I think that would be. I think that would be
rent
a more.
at the first of the month. They don't want a piece of it. They don't want to talk about
I think
it.
that would be a more expensive cookie though.
Oh yeah. That's that's like a
Like maybe an online sale, like the
Probably.
protein cookie, maybe. I don't know.
everlasting gobstopper.
Yeah.
Brandon's consulting advice here.
Yeah.
I'm just
These
throwing
are
stuff
the
out.
opinions
Good stuff.
of Brandon.
I'm just throwing stuff out.
But no, I will say desserts
Cookie
can
that
be
makes you come less.
addictive. Yeah, I don't want to sell
Never
that.
mind.
I
guess.
my daughter needs shoes right now.
Her. Never mind.
Yeah,
But yeah, we do have our loyal sugar babies. That's what we call our customers. So, I want to keep them.
Yeah,
Right, Brandon?
yes, ma'am. I mean, it sounded like smart at first, but never mind. All right, anyways, that's the podcast.
Yes. Good combo today, everybody.
For sure.
Love it that you try.
For sure. Well, appreciate you joining us. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Hit up Mimi and Sugar Daddy Cookies ATL. Appreciate y'all being with us, and we are out. Deuces.
Shalom.
Peace.